Greetings. My name is Ruth Veloria, and I am the Chief Strategy and Customer Officer at the University of Phoenix. Our topic today is taking great care of customers in a crisis. And I'm going to be sharing with you some lessons I've learned personally through my own career, through my great interactions with the leaders at Bain& Company, especially Fred Reichelt and Rob Markey, and of course from my great colleagues here at the University of Phoenix, and we'll be sharing some examples of how to put these principles into life in our presentation today. I want to start with a quote that was important to me when I was in the financial services industry in the 90s. Every interaction with others is an opportunity to either increase the connection with them or to break that connection. At this time, when many of our customers are deeply concerned about things outside of their control, it's a time of great stress for them, but it's also a time of great opportunity for your brand or your company to be able to step in and truly deepen those relationships with customers. Managing through crises with customers well could be a really important time for you to truly accelerate the loyalty of your customers to your brand. It's a great opportunity to show up well, and therefore to cement loyalty for life. And since many of our students and alumni actually run their own business, this topic is really, really important to them as they focus on taking their businesses to the next level through this crisis. I want to start with sharing some thoughts about the actions you should be taking right now. And again, very inspired by Rob Markey, my colleague that I've worked with over the years at Bain & Company. One important thing to do right now is to go through these 3 steps, but to do them in the right order. First of all, you should be asking yourself, where does my product fit in my customers' priorities right now? You might be an essential business. If you're in the essential business category, then your most important priorities are to make sure that customers know how to get hold of you. You may have closed physical locations. Do you have a website that tells customers where they should now get hold of you? If you've had to curtail your phone hours and phone service, where are those new hours published? And how, in general, are you extending your touch points with customers to make sure that they know how to get a hold of you? Of course, if you're not in the essential products category, you may just be a small and local business, but you may have very, very deep relationships with a small set of local customers. Those customers right now really want to interact and help you to keep your business running. So it's important that you let them know how it is that they can help you. What is the help that you need? Whether it's now doing remote ordering instead of coming to your physical location, or sending messages of support out on their social networks. What could it be that they could do to help you? Third, if you're not an essential or a well-known and loved local product, it's often a really good idea right now to be especially quiet. There are a lot of messages in customers' ears. I'm speaking for myself. I'm getting hundreds of messages, both as a vendor to my university and, of course, as an individual consumer. And I'm ignoring the vast majority of those messages because the second step is really very important here in this process. And that is to really know, can your existing product help with an immediate need in the community? And if it does, it is important for you to get the message out about what your product can do to help others. And so if you do have those things, think about ways to bring those solutions to market. Small example, perhaps being these webinars that we're doing for our students and alumni at the University of Phoenix. And then third, but not at all unimportant, is this could be a good time after the first 2 questions have been assessed to be thinking about how does your product need to evolve for the new normal? And what is the new normal? Well, it's certainly an expectation that our customers will be hoping to interact with us more virtually and more digitally for the foreseeable future, since they've got used to the convenience of doing that. It also may mean they have more fears and anxieties. You may have a lot more competition in this time. They have learned ways to solve customer problems that you were not equipped to do and you should be assessing the competition and working out how to evolve your product to keep it relevant for the future. Now, that's a lot about what you should be saying, but we also need to be mindful of how we should be communicating with customers at this time. And of course, wisdom essentially collected over the ages. You could cite a number of sources for how to talk to customers. But the golden rule, I think it goes without saying, this is not a time to be opportunistically commercial. And I've written that right up at the top of the page. So assuming that we all follow that and understand why that's important, I've picked out 5 of the ideas I've read about for communicating with customers and that we use here at the University of Phoenix as some key golden rules for this time. The first one, as we've already discussed, especially for essential businesses, be available for customers. Make sure they know how to get hold of you. And when you do interact with them, really important that you acknowledge what's happening. I've had a lot of marketing messages in my email these days telling me about products I could be buying in sales that I could be taking advantage of, but without acknowledging the crisis, it's falling flat for me. And therefore, it's really important as you look at the communications with customers that you're reassessing the words and the tone in those communications. We've certainly taken a look at the way we're positioning things that we do at the University of Phoenix on our website, and I'll show you some examples of that shortly. Number 4, be transparent. Customers really want to know that you know what safety issues are potentially with interacting with them in their locations, how you're taking care of your employees, making sure that your products are safe and appropriate at this time. So really take the time to be clear with customers about what you're doing on behalf of them and on behalf of your employees. And then 5th on our list here, be relevant or be quiet. As I previously mentioned, there is a tremendous amount of traffic and messages coming to everybody these days, whether it's on the television, through their YouTube videos, through their email inboxes, and it's very cluttered. So if you do not have anything relevant and important to say at this time, you are wasting your money and your energy in communicating. So better to say nothing at this point than to be lost in the noise. Now, as we start to use this time to plan for the future, this is a great time to be thinking about how our consumers' needs are going to be shifting in the future. And I also want to reference another great piece of work by Bain and Company, first published in HBR in 2016. And there's 2 versions of this paper that speak about the elements of value. There's a paper about that for the B2C or the consumer market, and then one for the B2B business market. And of late, they've recently republished this on their website and talk specifically about what customers will value more in the near term as we start to come out of the crisis. When you read the full article, you'll see that they take a Maslow's hierarchy approach to thinking through all the different needs that customers might have. And then the circles here in the diagram represent elements of value, as they call them, that are things that you can be doing, value that you can be delivering as you construct your services and products for the future. The hierarchy, of course, begins at the bottom in Maslow's world with food and shelter and other such basic needs, and then progresses through functional and emotional, and then eventually to self-actualization styles of needs. You can see here in the diagram, there's 6 of the elements of value that they focused on for the ways that customer needs will be shifting and therefore how our products would be adapting in the future. 3 of them in particular speak to me about that basic level, reducing anxiety, reducing risk. How can your product be mindful of anxieties and risks that your consumers face? And how do you adapt and incorporate those needs into your future product, which may, of course, lead to increasing your availability or the flexibility of your product. Maybe that's physical flexibility, as many of us are experiencing right now. Or maybe it's time flexibility, a lot of what we do here at the University of Phoenix. And then there's stability. In a time when many things are out of a consumer's control, Your product being stable and predictable will be of a reassurance to them. So do think about ways that you can add stability into your offering. And last here of the 6 is a mention of social responsibility. This is the highest order in the framework of ways that your brand could be contributing and adding value. And a lot of our consumers today take great pride in associating with socially responsible brands. What is it that your brand could be doing both now and sustaining into the future that helps our community be better after this crisis than it was before? Here's a few examples now of how the University of Phoenix is incorporating these principles into our messages with our students and alumni. Firstly, there you notice that together we saw webinars, the example that we're in at the moment. And those are ways that we are putting relevant information out to our students, leveraging things that we have that can help right now. And then in terms of revisiting the tone and the wording, you'll see the blue bar there, online but never on your own. It's kind of the latest messaging that we're sending out to our students, recognizing, acknowledging that right now some people might be, in fact, on their own and studying at home, maybe in a quarantine situation. But the University of Phoenix has a lot of great counselors that are here to support you every step of the way. And so we're making sure that people understand that that is part of our value proposition. And then lastly, here on the page, we have our Phoenix to Phoenix social media example. At this time, creating affiliation and belonging across your customer base may be very helpful. In our case, connecting students going through this process together, but separately geographically, they're able to share their tips and tricks for success. And it really brings them together to help each other out in a time when otherwise they might be feeling quite by themselves. So just a few examples there of the things that university is doing to make these principles come to life for you. But I actually want to end on a note that's not about customers at all, really. It's first and foremost about employees. And of course, many people have spoken about this topic over the years. Here we're illustrating Richard Branson and Bill Marriott. But this notion that if you take care of your employees, they will take care of your business. Really very simple philosophy, but I think we're coming to understand how important it is that our employees have their basic needs met. Those may, of course, we often think of that as the tools to do their job, but right now, those needs have gone to the next lowest level in the hierarchy, the food and shelter level. Is my job safe? Do I have sick pay? How is my employer helping me stay safe? Do I have work at home policies? How are they protecting me in this time? So I want to leave you there with that most important principle of actually remembering that employees come first of all. I do hope these tips have been valuable for you, especially if you're running your own business. And I wish you every success in stabilizing your business and setting it up for success in the years to come.